The Foundation for Ibadan Television Anniversary Celebration (FITAC), under the leadership of former Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines and former general manager of WNTV and WNBS Ibadan, Ambassador Yemi Farumbi, hosted the grand finale of the 60th anniversary celebration of the first television station in Africa and parts of Europe and Asia, WNTV. In line with the celebration, a book and award presentation event was held on Thursday, the 31st of October 2019 at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. In attendance at the event was a long list of government officials, veteran broadcasters, journalists, and many others. Guests included the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON. The Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, was represented by his deputy, Engineer Rauf Olaniyan. Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, was represented by the Ekiti State Commissioner for Information, Mr. Muyiwa Olumilua. Former Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines and former general manager of WNTV and WNBS Ibadan, Ambassador Yemi Farumbi. Minister of Information Alhaji Lai Mohammed was represented by the Director General of the NTA, Alhaji Yakub Ibn Mohammed. Other dignitaries were the first female senior advocate of Nigeria, Chief Folake Sholanke, SAN, CON. First face in African television, Mrs. Anike Agbaje Williams. First daughter of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Mrs. Tola Oyediran, née Awolowo. Ambassador Tokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu, and about 3 generations of the Awolowo family. Executive Chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, BCOS, Mr. Dotun Oyelade. The Chairman and CEO, Space FM, Otumba Dejo Shibogun. Oloye Lekan Alabi, among others. The program formally kicked off with the national anthem, after which Mr. Ayo Fashoro, a member of the Foundation for Ibadan Television Anniversary Celebration (FITAC) Board of Trustees, gave his welcome remarks. Mr. Ayo Fashoro described the celebration as a joyous one to celebrate the legacy of the prominent Nigerians who started WNTV 60 years ago. He also thanked the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for gracing the occasion despite his very tight schedule.
This morning, we shall launch a book by presentation. That book tells us all. It is a chronicle of individuals who over the 60 years have gone through that building, that premises, built for £250,000 in 3 months. And whose legacy of excellence has been passed down over the years. Individuals have told their own stories. They are part of the big story. Their narratives are contained in that book. We shall also use this day to honor those who have brought us this far. The visionaries that we mentioned, Papa Awolowo, Chief Enahoro, and Chief Titi Shularo, they will be honored.
In the opening remarks of the chairman of the Foundation for Ibadan Television Anniversary Celebration (FITAC), Ambassador Dr. Yemi Farumbi, he described the 60th celebration of WNTV as significant, while stressing that Nigeria should be proud of the first ever TV station in Africa. Ambassador Yemi Farumbi stated that it is time to establish a broadcast training center that can compete favorably with the Thomson Foundation Training College of Glasgow, Scotland, or the Radio Netherlands Training Center.
Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the great visionary, said, and I quote, "The regional government is convinced
that television can play a major role in increasing the pace and standard of education. Television will serve as a teacher and entertainer and a stimulus to us all to transform Nigeria into a modern, prosperous nation, unquote. The dream of the visionary, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, was the creation of a modern, prosperous Nigeria. It was not a dream for Ibadan alone, nor was it a dream for Western region alone. It was a dream for the entire country of Nigeria. And this is why this foundation, ably supported by the Nigerian Television Authority, has made this a celebration of a national monument. Indeed, this celebration of what a great country has done in times past.
In the remarks of the Honorable Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, who was represented by the Director General of the NTA, Alhaji Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, he commended the founding fathers of WNTV for their sacrifice and efforts.
I feel very highly honored and privileged to be part of this epoch-making event today. Exactly 60 years ago, history was made in the ancient city of Ibadan when the revered political leader and an astute politician, the Lord Premier of the then Western region, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and some other co-visionaries brought into being the first television station, not only in Nigeria but in the whole of Africa. I salute the courage and foresight of the proponents of this noble idea that has now grown in leaps and bounds. I salute them for their foresight. I salute them for the fact that they had the foresight some 60 years ago to think and bring to bear what we are here gathered this morning to celebrate.
Shortly after that was the review of the book titled Heritage of Excellence. It was reviewed by Professor Nkechi Christopher of the Department of Communications and Language Arts, University of Ibadan. The book, which has 421 pages, depicts the stories and voices of 47 individuals who have successfully passed through the iconic WNTV right from its inception in October 1959. Thereafter, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, who was represented by his deputy, Engineer Rauf Olaniyan, made the official presentation of the book, Heritage of Excellence.
Yesterday was the birth of the TV television in Nigeria. Without committing a fallacy of Eastern civilization, in my prayer for learning, I said this book is a must for every household. But on how the government was it, I will not be able to mention any amount of money. I'm sure my governor will get in touch with TV. Alumni. Thank you very much.
The award presentation session was conducted by Chief Tolu Ighodalo. The Visionary Awards were presented by the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. It started with an award presented to the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, which was wholeheartedly received by the Awolowo family. Dr. Tokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu, on behalf of the family, appreciated the organizers for the award ceremony and for honoring the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
Only on rare occasions are we allowed, as Papa's descendants, to share in the glory of his legacy. and this is one. We are most grateful to the Foundation for Ibadan Television. The gentleman sitting next to me was just asking me, why is there no Awolowo on the political scene? And I said, how long do you have? We can discuss that later. But I congratulate the organizers of this event, and I pray for sustainability for all that you want to do. There is no way that you are going to be sustainable without partnering with government. And I do think that with the present company, that is assured.
The next award was presented to the late Chief Anthony Enahoro, who was the Minister of Information when Chief Awolowo was the Premier of the Western region. The award was received by his son, Chief Eugene Enahoro. In his response, Chief Eugene Enahoro first thanked the organizers for honoring his father, the late Chief Anthony Enahoro. He later emphasized that Nigeria should be the first in Africa in terms of communication and broadcasting.
For celebration, it is a day for celebration for the Enahoro family because my father has been given a posthumous award. Now, as Mr. Vice President is very aware, the awards industry in Nigeria is now big business. All sorts of meaningless cash and carry awards have been given, Governor of the Year, Banker of the Year, this one. All awards for excellence. The actual evidence of this excellence is not on ground. So it's no surprise that those awards are very quickly forgotten. A posthumous award, though, means that after your race has been run, your life is over. Nobody has anything to gain from recognizing you, and yet you are still recognized. It is the highest honor you can give somebody. And I thank you very much for honoring my father like that.
The last Visionary Award was presented to the first board chairman of WNTV, the late Chief Thompson Sholaru, which was received by his first daughter, Mrs. Bisi Shofunde, née Sholaru. In her words, Mrs. Bisi Shofunde described her father as a very humble man who always strived for greatness in all his endeavors. She described the recognition as very important to the Sholaru family.
I didn't realize just how bigger he was. To us, his children, he was daddy. To the extended family, he was Baba Bishop or Baba Sholaru. Until, I think it was 1973, when they were reading his citation for his honorary doctorate degree at the University of Oxford, when they mentioned first this, first that, first the other, and I was in awe. And I looked at the man who was so simple, never once let us know just how much he achieved. That was his first recognition. But this is even more important because it means that in Nigeria, if you do well and leave a legacy, somebody will remember. And that is why this is important to the family.
The award for the pioneers of WNTV were later presented, beginning with Oba Olufalomo. Mr. Olushola received the award on his behalf. Also, an award was presented to Chief Anike Agbaje Williams, the first woman to appear on television in Africa. The last sets of awards, the Distinguished Alumni Awards, were presented to Are Ogunlade, Engineer Vincent Maduka, Chief Tunde Oshobi, and Chief Bruce Obiageli. In the remarks of the chairman of the occasion, the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, he described the celebration as worthwhile and commended the visionaries for striving to bring their dreams to reality.
It's a special honor to be here today to celebrate the pioneers of television in Africa. Exactly 60 years ago today, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Premier of the Western region, then flanked by the Governor General, Sir John Rankin, Chief Anthony Enahoro, who was the region's Minister of Information, and Chief Titi Shoraru, first board chair of the Western Nigeria Broadcasting Corporation, formally entered the history books by commissioning the WNTV, first in Africa. The event was historic for three reasons. Firstly, it demonstrated the capacity of the Nigerian mind to conceive of and achieve anything, no matter how complex or difficult. Secondly, it demonstrates how visionary leadership can inspire and lead people from the lowest levels to the highest points of human imagination.
The Vice President said the celebration of the phenomenal achievement in 1959 would be wasted unless we as a people recognize that the achievements were basically for Nigerians to stand on.
The celebration of the phenomenal achievement in 1959 would be wasted unless we recognize that the achievement represents sturdy shoulders for us to stand on, and that today we can do more. And that the vision of Awo was to build a people capable of excelling beyond even his own achievements. Every generation has a historic responsibility to reach for the highest peaks that human capacity can achieve. Today, we're at the most advanced moment in science, in technology, and innovation in human history. The mobile phone, the smartphones that you have in your hands, have more computing power than all of the computing power that the Apollo spaceship that took men to the moon had in 1969. Today, every smartphone has more computing power than all that the Apollo spaceship had in 1969. So all things are possible, and we are able. Let us be inspired by Papa's words that our only limit is our imagination. Congratulations to the Foundation for Ibadan Television, and to all of us, friends, families, and admirers of the pioneers. Thank you very much. God bless you.
The program officially ended with a vote of thanks delivered by Reverend Abiola Ladikomo. Still in the spirit of celebrating WNTV at 60, on Thursday, the 31st of October 2019, a gala night which featured more award presentations was held at the multi-purpose hall of the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan. The Chief of Staff to the Ondo State Government, Chief Olugbenga Ali, represented the Executive Governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu, the Chairman of the occasion, Oba Olufalomo, Mother of the Day, Chief Mrs. Folake Sholanke, SAN, former Nigerian Ambassador to the Philippines, Ambassador Yemi Farumbi, Chairman of the Gala Night Committee, Oloye Lekan Alabi, Chief Mrs. Nike Akonde, Chief Giwa BC Rodikbe, Group Managing Director and CEO Odua Investment Company Limited, Mr. Adewale Raji, among other important personalities. In the welcome address of the Chairman Gala Night Committee, Oloye Lekan Alabi, he officially welcomed all to the Gala Night in celebration of WNTV at 60. After that, an audio piece, a recording of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, commissioning WNTV on the 31st of October 1959, was played. In the address of the Vice Chairman, FITAC, Chief Giwa BC Rodikbe, he urged Nigerians not to allow the labor of our heroes past go in vain by teaching the youth the right things to know so as to protect the future.
60 years ago, 1959, our national leader, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, established the first television station in Africa. In the verse of the second stanza, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow. Consequently, 60 years after, we, the youth of those days in 1959, now gathered around here today to acknowledge the noble cause and the labor of our heroes past, intended to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. I'm therefore delighted and pleased to welcome you all to this occasion where the labor of our aerospace shall never be in vain. Amen.
The chairman of the Gala Night, Chief Olufalomo, who incidentally was the only black man in the control room when WNTV started transmission on the 31st of October 1959, said he was fortunate to be in charge of the sound at the time. Chief Olufalomo also commended the three heroes who birthed television in Africa: Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Chief Anthony Enahoro, and Chief Titi Sholaru, for their immense contribution to the development of Nigeria at large.
We are proud of our ancestors. We are proud of those who thought of bringing television to Africa, thought of bringing television to Nigeria 60 years ago. And we pray that we will continue to build the day wherever we are today. Of course, we set the pace. Western Nigeria set the pace. Lo and behold, some years later, those who did not support us at the beginning, those who thought that we were wasting our resources, came and acquired the stations. But as you always say, if I get you, Western Nigeria is still ahead on so many fronts. We can continue to count our firsts. All I can say is that
there was a short cultural display by the Omar Joroso Club in Ibadan. The executive governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu SAN, who was represented by his chief of staff, Chief Olugbenga Ali, in his address, commended the heroes who brought about the creation of the TV station for being steadfast in making the right decision to start a television station earlier than some European countries and even China.
Our gathering here is to mark the 60th anniversary of the first television in Africa. It is worth celebrating. To many, it becomes more heartwarming when viewed from our ethno-narratives. However, I have pondered over a disturbing poster. Who would have blazed this trail if not Awolowo? Without prejudice, Chief Obafemi Awolowo represented an interpersonal generational link. He lived before his time, just as he lived ahead of his time. He drew nearer the future and had a panoramic view of society without allowing the repulsive tendencies of the challenging moments to deter him. He knew and thought of today, yesterday. Therefore, Chief Awolowo's idea of setting up the first television in Africa in 1959 could not have been too much for him to conceptualize. It is gratifying to state that the setting up of Africa's first TV by Chief Awolowo on the eve of Nigeria's independence in 1960 came before most countries in Europe had the idea of same.
Thereafter was the presentation of the Veteran Star Awards to special individuals who have contributed to the growth and success of WNTV over the years. The first award was presented by the representative of the governor of Ondo State, Chief Olugbenga Ali, to the first female lawyer in Nigeria, Chief Mrs. Folake Solanke SAN. Responding after receiving the award, Chief Mrs. Folake Solanke SAN congratulated the organizers of the events which she tagged a success.
Then, you know, it gives me a feeling of nostalgia that at 87 years old, I can come here. I was appointed the first female state commissioner by Oluwole Rotimi Brigadier in 1972. I was assigned the Ministry of Establishment and Training and also chairman of WNTV, WNBS. So all those members connected with WNTV, anywhere they see me now, they still say chairman. And you know, I tried to remember that no position in life is permanent. And therefore, I treated the highest officer to the lowest sweeper with great respect and affection. So anywhere I go now, they still give me that recognition.
Other award recipients were Chief Anima Shao, late Chief Duru Ladipo, and the brain behind Waka, an Islamic-inspired Yoruba music genre, the late Alaja Batile Alake, who was represented by her granddaughter, who also sang some of Alaja Batile Alake's songs. The next award was presented to Nigerian Juju music legend King Sunny Ade for his contribution to entertainment. The ballet of Ekotedo, Chief Taye Ayorinde, also received an award. An award was later presented to the first woman to walk in the newsroom of WNTV, Mrs. Onojide, while the last award for the night was presented to Professor Evangelist Ebenezer Obey, who was represented by his PR director, Mr. Tunde Babalola. After that, popular gospel singer Lady Evangelist Mrs. Fumi Aragbaye and the great Melody Band got all dancing all night long. From Biscon Communications, we celebrate with FITAC, the Foundation for Ibadan Television Anniversary Celebration, on the successful hosting of the 60th anniversary celebration of Western Nigeria Television, WNTV.